like Marina said, welcome everybody for joining us today. We are super excited to be here with this class with you guys today. There is a brand new FolkArt paint that just arrived at Michael's. It is the FolkArt Glossy paint. We are super duper excited about it. Today, Jess is going to do a little demo to show us some tips and techniques and to tell us all the great things about FolkArt Glossy and make a really cute project along the way. So without further ado, are you ready, Jess?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, cool. So welcome everybody. Like Emma said, my name is Jessie Jennings and I'm a content creator here at Plaid. And today I'm super excited to show you one of my favorite brand new products that Plaid has in Michael's, which is FolkArt Glossy paint. So you guys all know FolkArt paints. We know it, we love it. We've been using it for years, but now we have this really fun new formula that has a super high shine to it. So that's really fun. It's a little bit different than any of our other paints that we have in the FolkArt line. So of course, we're going to be learning how to make these really fun wood vases here today. So you can really, the great thing about FolkArt Glossy, which I'll get into a little bit more, is that it's multi-surface. So you can use this paint on any kind of vases you have at home. But I just love the way that this paint looks on these raw wood vases because it's so shiny and it's so bright and it's so vibrant and it really pops off of that natural wood. So I want to show you guys a couple of the projects I have here today, just so you guys can get an idea of some of the things you can do with FolkArt Glossy. And then we can go ahead and get into actually making some vases today. So you ready?
Ready.
Okay, cool. So here I have some of these really fun dough bowls. So you always see these at like country fairs and craft fairs and things like that. They're super popular for home decor. And just another great example of how beautiful these FolkArt Glossy colors look on raw wood. So I just love the way that the bright colors, you can see this one I believe is called, it's called Bold Orchid. So this is one of my favorite of the colors and I'll show you a little bit more. The colors are just super unique and super vibrant. So I'm excited to show you those, but you can see how well they pop off of these natural tones. So I use it here on some of these dough bowls, which is really fun. Here's a little bit darker one, which has this fun like peacock blue color that's called tropical green. So just, I mean, you can see it's like super sharp and super bold on that. I also did some baskets here. So like I said, it's multi-surface, so it works great on all kinds, and it's got really awesome coverage. So it's thick and creamy, which of course we'll demonstrate for you guys in just a minute, just like all of our other FolkArt formulas. So it goes great on textured surfaces like this basket here, but I did this really fun little wave pattern. So it's kind of beachy, really fun for summer. You can stick some blankets in it or something, but just a few, you can see we've got all these beautiful blue colors in the line. But yeah, just a really fun project and it was so easy to do. And then of course, like I said, I did these really fun vases. So I'm going to show you what kind of brush I used and what kind of stroke I used, what kind of motion I used to create these really fun brush stroke, super whimsical vases today. And I also grabbed a few other surfaces because I know Michael's has tons of awesome craft wood surfaces as well as home decor wood surfaces. So I just have a bunch of kind of random wood surfaces here to show you that you can really do this technique on any wood surfaces that you have at home. Okay, so first let's start playing with some of these colors. So I'm excited to show you some of them. So here, I'll put out some of this Bold Orchid. So this is the one that I showed you on that first bowl, and it's so, so pretty. And like I said, the FolkArt Glossy line of colors is really unique. It's really different than any of our other FolkArt colors, in my opinion. We just have these like pretty emerald greens and some like pastels. This is like a pretty honeydew color. Beautiful corals, and I showed you all of those amazing blues that I had on those baskets. So lots of really fun colors to choose from, especially for summer. So I have another vase here that I haven't painted on yet. So I have been seeing these brush strokes everywhere. I don't know about you, Em, but I've been seeing these super fun, super whimsical, really simple brush strokes all over, whether it be on canvases or home decor or fashion even. But it's just so fun, and it's a really easy, simple way to add some color. So you don't need to be an expert painter. You don't need to have a ton of experience in crafting, and you can add a really fun pop of color to anything you have at home using a really simple design like this. So the key is, my personal opinion, I love how it has the rounded top. And I think a lot of people struggle with that because they're like, well, how do I make the top so rounded? So the key is to use a Filbert brush. So what that means, Filbert refers to the shape of the bristles. So you see how there are round bristles here? So we have a flat brush here, which of course has flat bristles. And then the Filbert has these round bristles. So when you use a brush like this, it creates that line for you. So you don't have to worry about rounding at the top, going back after you use your flat brush or anything like that. You can just use this Filbert brush and it creates that nice rounded top for you. You can just pull down on whatever project you're working on to get these really fun, whimsical brush strokes. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the coverage, and I'll show you some techniques for kind of layering these colors. So again, I'm using Bold Orchid, and this is a brush that I got at Michael's. Michael's has an awesome selection of brushes. So brushes for acrylic paint and any kind of paint you can imagine. So I got this one at Michael's. So I just applied some paint to my brush, just the top half. And I'm going to start about, midway down, and I'm just going to pull. So you can see how super simple that was, and you can see what great coverage that has. You guys see that there? So I'm not going to have to do 2 coats, which is really nice, because when you're doing a project like this, you don't really want to have to go back and redo brush strokes because it would take forever. So it's really nice to be able to just do it in one brush stroke and not have to worry about it. Any questions yet, Em?
No, it's looking great, Jess. I can't believe how amazing the coverage is.
I know. Look at that pretty purple. Isn't that so pretty?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do a few more of these purple brush strokes, and I'm kind of going to stagger here. I'll lay this one down for you so you can see, remember what the finished one looks like. But I'm going to kind of stagger them. So I have different heights and kind of almost random in the way they're overlapping. So I'm just pulling down. You want to have a fairly steady hand, but you don't have to have a super duper steady hand or anything. You just want to make sure you can make it squiggly if you wanted to. Maybe that's what you prefer, and that's totally fine. It's totally up to you. Then I'm just pulling down, and the more consistent they are, the neater they'll look. Even if all of your brush strokes aren't perfect, as long as they're consistent with each other, it'll look really neat and tidy when you're done with your project. So don't worry about making them perfect. As long as you're being consistent with the way you're doing your brush strokes, it'll look really great at the end. So you can see, again, just super awesome coverage, super full coverage in just the first brush stroke. So I'm going to wipe off some excess paint and rinse my brush. Any questions yet, Em?
Yeah, I keep speaking when I'm on mute. Miriam had a good question. They wanted to know how fast does this paint dry?
Oh, so this paint dries pretty fast. So I would say it dries just as fast as any of our other folk art paints. So it'll be dry to the touch in just 30 minutes to an hour. For full cure times, you want to make sure to read the bottle, but I would definitely leave it overnight before I start using this for anything crazy. If it's something you're going to be like using a lot, if you were going to do like, I'm trying to think of an example of something you might use a lot. Like here's this is a really cute like tissue box. So if you're going to have this where it might be getting kind of bumped around, I would wait for it to cure, but something decorative like this, it'll dry to the touch in a really quick amount of time.
Okay, Jess, and before you get started again, we have one more question. Someone wants to know, how is the glossy different from like an enamel paint?
Oh, that is a great question. So the enamel paints, our folk art enamels does have a pretty glossy sheen when it's dry. So that's a really great point. So the folk art glossy are multi-surface, kind of similar to our enamel. These are meant to be used kind of like our multi-surface paint. So you can use them on glass, you can use them on wood, on terracotta. They're also indoor outdoor, which I forgot to mention. So you can use them on terracotta pots or on birdhouses, which is really fun. So you can use it for any of your outdoor crafts, on rocks, which I know people are still really loving painting rocks, where enamels are specifically designed to work on glass. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a hair dryer here. So I always keep a hair dryer whenever I'm crafting with acrylic paint. So I'm just going to dry it really quick, just so it's dry to the touch before I start painting my other colors over it so they don't smear and get muddy. So just a second. Okay, so that's pretty dry. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab, this is one of my other favorite colors. This one's called Jadeite. So it's like a really pretty, oops, it's totally sealed. Mm-hmm. It's a really pretty honeydew color almost. I just love the way this color looks. Open it up with my brush there.
And while you're opening that, Jessie, someone had another good question. Does using a blow dryer to dry your project affect like the color or the paint in any way as opposed to air drying?
Yeah, it shouldn't. I always like to let my projects, especially with acrylic paint, air dry when I can. But if I'm in a hurry or if I'm painting a painting and I'm doing lots of layering and I don't want to wait in between, I will use a hair dryer. I do recommend, I like kind of switching between the hot and cold setting just because, especially if you're putting on your paint kind of thickly, if you dry it too fast, it could crack. So of course I want to avoid that. So I start with the warm setting, and then if I have like the cool button on my hair dryer, I'll switch to the cool setting, and I'll kind of go back and forth between the two until my paint is dry.
Because you definitely want to wait for all the different colors to dry before applying a second layer so that the colors don't mix, right? So that's why it's important for them to dry.
Exactly. So I just did this really pretty pink purple color called Bold Orchid, and now I'm doing jadeite, this pretty green color. So I wouldn't want the wet purple and wet green to mix together because that could get kind of muddy and it wouldn't be a pretty color. So just like Emma said, I definitely want to have these dry first, dry to the touch before I start painting a different color on top of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep going. I still have my Filbert brush here, so I'm going to do some overlapping.
So we have a great question from Deidre, who seems like they are a folk art paint enthusiast.
Awesome. I love that.
She wants to know, could I use the folk art terracotta paint on a vase, let that dry, and then use the folk art glossy on top of that and do the same pattern that we're creating today?
You definitely could. And if you decide to do that, please post it because that sounds so beautiful. I love that idea. I don't think we've mixed and matched these two formulas yet, but what a great idea. So in case you guys didn't know, our folk art terracotta paint is one of our other brand new paints that is now in Michael's. And what it does is it makes any surface you're painting on look just like terracotta. So it gives it a beautiful matte, lightly textured finish to look just like terracotta, looks like raw, bakeware. So I love that idea. The contrast would be beautiful if we have like a lightly textured, super ultra matte finish on, a vase or whatever it is that you're painting on. And we have this beautiful, smooth, super shiny folk art glossy over it. That sounds awesome. So if you decide to make that, please post it online and please hashtag plaidcraft so we can see how it turns out.
So Jessie, for all of us who are not as artistically inclined as you are, when you're painting this, what's going on in your head? Like when you're trying to space it out and trying to decipher the height of each brush stroke?
Great question. So I'm kind of trying to make it random. You can see it kind of ended up overlapping each of these little purple ones just because I want it to look really whimsical and really almost organic, I guess, when I'm finished. I don't want it to look too structured and too planned. So the key to doing that is not to plan it. So, when I go and use other colors in just a minute, I maybe will use less of some colors and more of some other ones. I've kind of got it pretty consistent now, just kind of get that nice, background of all of the stripes. And you can see here in the final one, I've got like kind of my blues in the back and they're all different. And then I went over it with some of these warmer colors in the front, just really random, because I just love that whimsical look that you get when you make sure they're all super random, if that makes sense.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dry this green real quick. We might want to do a second coat. So you can see kind of happens when you do lighter colors. Sometimes you just want to do 2 coats. So I'm gonna dry it real quick and show you what it looks like when you do a second coat of that color. But you could definitely get away with 1 coat. You can see it's still pretty good coverage. And one thing I want to note too is whenever I'm using our FolkArt, original matte formula, it's easy to see when your paint is dry because it turns matte. So of course it looks glossy and shiny when it's wet. And then as it's drying, it gets that nice matte finish. But the glossy paint, it of course stays glossy because that's the way we formulated this paint. So you do kind of have to gently touch it with your finger because it looks like it's wet, but in some areas it's actually already dry. It's just nice and shiny. So just a little something to think about when you're painting with it, when you're drying it with a hairdryer like me. You might just tap it ever so gently and just make sure that it is fully dry. So mine's still a little bit wet. I could just feel it on my finger. I'm going to keep drying. That's probably good. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do a second coat on these stripes that I did with this color Jadeite, which is one of my favorites. And I mentioned before, the reason I'm using this Filbert brush, and when I say Filbert brush, that's referring to the shape of the bristles. So the bristles at the top of the brush are round, and that's how I'm getting this nice rounded stroke. So it's nice and round at the top, which is the look I'm going for. But if you want a different look, you can use a flat brush. So you'll have just more, it'll be, really cut off and straight at the top, which is really cute too. It just kind of depends on your preference. So if you only have flat brushes at home, don't feel like you can't create this project, because you definitely can. And you could always go back and, with a smaller brush, carefully round out the tops if you wanted to. Just an extra step. Okay, so that's looking really good. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let this kind of air dry for a couple minutes while I do the next color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid painting, avoid overlapping over this green color, just because I'll remember that it's still wet. We haven't dried it yet, but I am going to move on to my next color. So this is one of my other favorite colors. This one's called Tropical Green. And that is this beautiful greenish blue color right here. So it's kind of like a peacocky, very jewel toned. Can you guys see how beautiful that is?
Beautiful, yeah.
It's one of my favorite colors in the line. I mean, they're all so beautiful though. It's really hard to pick favorites.
And it's so glossy.
I know. I'm going to pour some of that on my palette. I don't even think I have all the colors here that Michaels offers. I just grabbed a bunch of them, but Michaels has, tons and tons of colors in the glossy line.
And obviously you're not base coating large areas or anything, but it seems like a little bit goes a long way.
A little bit does go a long way. That's a really good point. You don't need much paint to do a lot, because like I said, that's kind of what happens when you use paints like FolkArt that have such great coverage, is you don't end up having to use that much paint. Some paints that don't have, less like a smooth coverage, if you need to do multiple coats, you end up using a ton of paint by the time you're done with your project, because you're having to do so many coats. But that's not the case when you're using FolkArt paints, especially FolkArt Glossy. You can see I'm just doing some more random brush strokes. You can see that one's got such beautiful coverage. I mean, just like glides on. You can't see the wood through it at all. That's so pretty. And like I said, these colors are just so modern and they're so unique. I just love how bold and bright and vibrant the pigments are. They're just absolutely gorgeous. All right, what color should I do next? I'm gonna let everybody comment what color here they think I should do next, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dry this in my hair dryer, okay?
Okay.
Check and make sure it's pretty dry, and we are good to go for another coat. So like I said, you just want to make sure between coats that it's dry to the touch. It doesn't need to be like perfectly dry, especially if it's like this where we're just kind of slightly overlapping. You just want to make sure you're not going to pull up that coat that you put down with your new fresh paint. All right, so what's the consensus, Sam? What's the next color we're going to be using?
Drum roll. Just kidding.
Roll.
We have a tie between yellow and pink.
All right, let's do both then.
Okay.
Okay, so we have really 3 pinks if you count this beautiful Bold Orchid as a pink. But these 2 pinks are also just as beautiful. I can't decide which one. I think my favorite of the 2 might be Honeysuckle, which is this corally color. But then we also have this, babyish pastel-y pink called Pink Punch. So I will pour both out a little bit onto my palette just so you guys can get a good idea of what each of these colors look like. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and use the Honeysuckle just because that's my favorite.
Awesome. That's what Patty suggested too.
Oh, perfect. So here's, oh, this one's sealed too. I didn't realize these were all new when I started. So yes, this one's more of like a traditional like bubblegum pink. So that's really fun too. I love being able to have that in the line as well. But I'm always a coral kind of person. That's one of my favorite colors. So you can see, very different, but both just as pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead, and this is again, Honeysuckle that I'm picking up right now, this coral color. And I'm gonna keep my overlapping going.
And while you're doing that, Jess, somebody had a question that I forgot to ask you earlier. Someone wanted to know how many coats of paint did it take to base coat one of those bread bowls?
Great question. So it kind of depends on the color that you're using, because just the different pigments tend to have better coverage than others. But I would say never more than 3 coats to get full and complete coverage. Just like you can see, this one would probably need to do a second coat on this corally color, which is okay. Second coat's not bad. But that peacocky color, that was just like one and done. That was a super even coat right off the bat. So yeah, I would say between 2 to 3 coats at any given time when you want full coverage when you're base coating like that. Great. Yeah. Okay, so that's the corally color. Like I said, I am going to do a second coat on him just so you can really see that vivid color on the wood. I'm going to rinse my brush off. And what was the other color we had to tie between? Yellow?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of yellow too to show that to you guys. I love yellow. That's my favorite color. Okay, and this one is called Sunlight.
I love that color. It is like
Not pretty.
very
Like
vibrant.
All right, so I'm gonna do some over here. And yellow, of course, is a color that doesn't always have the greatest coverage, and that's just kind of the nature of the pigment. So we probably will need to do 2 coats of this one as well, but it's pretty good to start, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a little one down here, a little short stripe. And of course, you'd want to go all the way around, but just for time's sake, I'm just kind of doing the front to show you guys how I like to do a pattern like this.
It almost looks like a cute little cityscape.
Oh yeah, kind of reminds me of like when I was first doing it, it kind of started reminding me of like Dr. Seuss or something.
Yeah.
Just like very whimsical and bright and kind of funky. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna hit these with the hair dryer, and then we will do a second coat of the Honeysuckle and Sunlight. Just a little bit wet. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and do some of that, more of that coral color, Honeysuckle. How's everybody doing, Em?
Great. We have a latecomer, welcome, and she missed the very beginning of the class. She was curious what we are painting with today. And then we had another question asking, is our glossy paint in Michael's now or something that's coming in the future? So I let them both know, of course, that we're painting with FolkArt Glossy. It is brand new in Michael's right now.
Awesome. Yeah, you can get it in store and online. So you can go ahead and order some right after the class, or the next time you're at your local Michael's, you can pick some up. But yeah, it's a great addition to our FolkArt line of paints. It is super shiny. The colors are super vibrant and unique and beautiful. So we're really excited to be painting with this paint. I'm just doing a second coat of Sunlight here. And I really just love the way that these colors are popping off of this super rustic wood. I just think that's such a really fun contrast.
Me too. I was just thinking that.
So you can see, again, such good coverage. It's just 2 coats, even for yellow. I mean, that's really good. Yellow doesn't have a good reputation for being great coverage in any paint, but 2 coats is awesome.
Jesse, you should tell everybody what your niece said when you told her that yellow was your favorite color.
Oh, I love that story. So when my niece was little, she was obsessed with learning everybody's favorite things. And she said, Jessie, what's your favorite color? And I said, yellow. And she said, yellow is nobody's favorite. And I will forever be offended by that because I love the color yellow. It's like sunshine.
Yeah.
And it's Pantone's color of the year. So you can't argue with that.
Okay. And Deidre wanted to know, could you please repeat the color names, if you know them, from the original vase that was on the project listing?
Oh yeah, sure. So this is on the project listing. So this one uses, we've got Sunlight, which is the yellow color. That's basically the ones I used today, close to them anyway. We have Honeysuckle, which is this coral color. Bold Orchid is this beautiful purpley pink color. And then this one is Tropical Green, is this nice like peacock-ish color. And then I didn't use this periwinkle color, which I also love, but that one is called Marina.
Great. And another great question. Charlotte wanted to know if FolkArt Glossy will adhere to glass.
Yeah, FolkArt Glossy is multi-surface, so it will adhere to glass. And it is also indoor-outdoor, so you can use it on your outdoor projects as well. So if you wanted to paint rocks or birdhouses or anything like that you're planning on, or a sign, planning on putting outside, it is safe to do that, which is really fun.
Yeah, and somebody said they're loving watching us demo FolkArt Glossy paint today because they never know how a paint is really going to turn out when they buy it in the store.
That's a really great point. And that's another reason that we're so excited that Michael's always has us. So we can show you, our favorite ways to use our paints, whether it be FolkArt or any of our other amazing paints. And we're excited to be able to show you the best ways to use them, our favorite ways to use them, our favorite things to use them on, some of the things that we're inspired by with these paints. So yeah, that's a really good point. And I agree with you. That goes with any product. I feel like it's nice to be able to get a live demo to see if it's really all it's cracked up to be. So I'm glad you're enjoying.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think that's it. You guys learned how to make this really fun brushstroke wood vase today. So I hope you guys decide to go out and grab you some of this FolkArt Glossy paint. If you decide to make any of these projects or any projects with any of our products, we hope you post it online and hashtag Plaid Crafts so we can see all the really fun things you're making. So we'll be back here in the Michael's classroom once a week for a daytime craft class. And then of course, we're here every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time for our paint night live. So we teach you to paint a full painting in just about an hour with some of our really fun artists here at Plaid. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. Bye.